Premiership Perusal Podcast presents Lads on Tour.
Coming to everybody live from the same location that we just watched.
The bunker.
Yeah, just watched the last game of the quarterfinals. This stage not as exciting as the last stage.
Yeah, I was thinking this is a definite drop-off from what we saw in the last round of 16.
That's going to happen when you get teams like Spain on here.
Especially when you got games going to 120 minutes.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, even that can be exciting, extra time, obviously, but
no, I'm just saying, like in the round previously, so the guys are going to be all tired and whatnot.
True, that's a fair point. Yeah, you know, with this one, like I said, not as exciting. I do feel like the play was a little lackluster compared to last round too, just in general.
Yeah, it seemed like Switzerland. This game.
Are we just hopping into this one? Or just going right to it? Let's get into it. The Swiss and Spain 1-1 extra time. Spain on pens.
Yeah, I mean Switzerland not having Granit Xhaka.
Mm-hmm.
Huge miss.
It was the blonde bombshell himself. It was bound to be tough.
Yeah.
This one, you know, the opening goal. Very fortunate for Spain. Because obviously that elbow one, it was on that. They gave him an own goal, which is kind of weird. Like the shot wasn't going in, but it's technically on target. So I was surprised they gave it, but
yeah, I don't know. For those, it seems like why do you even try to make an attempt at that unless you know you can clear the ball?
Yeah,
because it seems like every time that happens, you just get like a little piece of it.
Yeah, there's way too many close calls, even for going out for like a corner and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like. You know the keeper's going to be able to deal with that one. But
yeah.
Zachariah, rough one for him.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, and then another blow for Swiss, Mbolo having to come off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
You're already down Xhaka as a big playmaker for you. So now you really just kind of have Shaqiri and...
Mm-hmm. Especially in this game because we all know Spain, you know, on set pieces are more vulnerable. Because they're all short and.
How dare you? They got a header goal and you still don't believe in them.
That was just Dave.
Just the idea of Switzerland not having much going forward in attack, missing Xhaka, and then now you're out in Bolo. It's like, so you got Gravanovic off the bench, but then you have Seferovic and you have Xhaka. Like that's really your two main sources of getting guys in scoring positions, because who else has scored for them this tournament other than those two?
Shaqiri.
No, that's why didn't I say Shaqiri?
No, you said Xhaka.
Well, I said Xhaka, like they're missing him from the game, and then Ebola went out, so that left two guys as their scores. That's what I meant to say, anyways.
Oh.
I meant to say they had Shaqiri and Seferovic as the only real two options to score.
Gotcha.
Because who else has scored for him?
Gravanovic did score.
No, but he's off the bench.
Oh, starting.
Yeah. I don't think anyone has.
All right, now that we cleared up that confusion.
Yes. But my point still stands. Who's scoring for them besides those two? So you only have two guys that can score.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have much of the ball. Tough spot for him.
I mean, Rodriguez not scoring his pens.
Yeah.
You know?
What are you going to do? Another Bundesliga fraud out here.
True that.
Couple subs. Your guy Morata getting subbed off early.
Tragic.
Brings on Gerard Moreno, who we'll get to. I have some thoughts on his performance this tournament. The goal for Swiss. Kind of a mistake clearly, but it wasn't like a huge mistake. I don't know what to say about it. We've talked about how Spain's defense is lackluster, to say the least. They have lapses.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty tragic from Pau Torres and Laporte. I believe it was them two.
Just
I don't know what they were even doing. It was just kind of like,
And plus, the goal just kind of came out of nowhere because they really didn't have anything
Yeah.
else. Swiss didn't have anything going forward, and then the ball just sits there for them.
yeah, it was kind of another one of those like Spain doing it against themselves.
Yeah, which seems to
Like,
be
what
the
are you
case
doing?
for.
They had some bad plays. I mean, almost another own goal.
Yeah, I mean, they really should be better in terms of, and especially when you hold the ball like that, you're really setting yourself up for any counterattack to really, because they're just going to be waiting
Yeah.
any moment. But Remo Freuler with the assist on that one to Shaqiri. Remo Freuler with a red card about 10 minutes later. Thoughts on that one?
Everyone seemed to be up in arms about the red card. When I saw it on first view, I thought it looked like a red card. When I saw it
Yeah.
on the replay,
It still
looked like a
yeah.
red card.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought about that
He
one.
went over the top of the ball. He got some of the ball, but he went over the top of it. He got a lot of man.
Yeah, and for me, he's going in 2-footed on that one. Like,
Yeah.
and he seemed kind of out of control.
What are you going to do?
You know, granted, what we've seen, like the Ampadu red card, this is a clear red card compared to that.
Yeah, the other ones have been more a little gray area.
Mm-hmm.
So then they got to make some changes. Jibril Sow and Gravanovic on for Shaqiri and Severovic. So they're like, okay, our 2 goal scorers off. Well, we'll bring on one guy who can hold down the midfield.
Yeah.
And we'll just have one guy who can score goals and we'll hope for the best.
Yeah, I was surprised that they took off Shaqiri.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
The tournament's on the line.
I guess you're playing for penalties, but then don't you want people who can take penalties?
No.
Like, I don't know.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? I thought Spain did a really good job at creating chances near the end of the game and in the extra time. They really did actually put that the extra man to good use. It's just they couldn't score. Moreno had that one that I don't know how he didn't at least put it on target.
See, they were creating chances, but they were also making more like sloppy mistakes. Like Danny Olmo was just like running down the wing and trying to take on guys, and then he'd lose the ball.
Yeah. Or it's
it just looks sloppy to me.
They forced a lot of stuff that they normally don't do.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it did result in chances. I think that they're just what people say about Italy lacking like the main kind of goal scorers. I feel like that's always been applied to Spain.
Yeah.
From the get-go in this tournament.
Yeah.
But goes to penalties.
This is one of the worst penalty shootouts I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think it might be the worst. This was terrible. There were so many bad pens.
Especially compared to the last game with Switzerland.
France, yeah.
They won. Those were good penalties.
Mm-hmm.
These ones were just
tragic.
Awful.
Busquets missed off the post.
Yeah.
Gravanovic scores. Almost scores. Cher with just a softie. Looked like he was just hoping the goalie's going to guess the wrong way.
Yeah.
But he's just trying to place it.
Mm-hmm.
Rodri with a miss. Manuel Akanji, sad man he is, miss. Moreno puts it away. Vargas, like it felt like the Swiss were like just trying to place the ball, and then here comes Vargas. He's like, all right, I'm just going to put my laces through, and then just skies it over the bar.
Yeah. That one was like the most tragic of all.
Yeah, and then Oyarzabal ends it for Spain. I don't know. With this game, I mean, it's been it was my thing coming into the tournament with Spain. It's my thing now still. They just don't have a consistent, not even 9, but like their wingers and stuff. They have a lot more playmakers than goal scorers is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. They can create chances, but who's getting on the end of it?
Yeah.
You just got to hope that it's like the 1 out of 20 times that Morata can score.
Yeah, pretty much, because even like the midfield guys, last game, Koke had a one-on-one with the keep and shot it like right at him.
Yeah.
And then this game, Moreno in extra time he was on like the edge of the 6-yard box,
Mm-hmm.
and he just put it wide of the post.
Yeah.
Defender behind him, one-on-one with the keep. So, Swiss out. Any takeaways from the Swiss tournament? Major upset.
They got farther than I expected. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I mean, a little unlucky with missing the guys, like missing Jaka and then Mbolo having to go out.
but I don't know how much of a difference.
Well,
They might have been able to win, but
convert a couple more penalties.
True.
You know?
I suppose. I was just thinking in terms of like regular time. Even then, it probably ups their chance like 10, 20% just having Jock out there. So
yeah, for sure.
Anything looking ahead for Spain? Well, I mean, we'll get to their opponent, probably talk about it, but just
it's
going
just,
off this result, anything to look.
I'm still like not that impressed by Spain. I
think this was their game with like the lowest possession, and it was still like 74%. It's just a lot of their possession is side to side, and it's not even quick.
No,
say what you want about England not being that fast in midfield that they're passing because they are like the slowest paced team. At least when they have it with Kane or Sterling or in this game they have with Sancho, at least it's quick and it's going towards net.
Yeah, you can tell they're trying to work towards something.
Yes.
Like there's so many passes that are completely meaningless, and like the other team is just sitting there. It's not like you're moving the other team.
No.
I don't even understand the purpose of it. Is I guess just to like bore the other team into
we're gonna get them bored
or something.
We're gonna get them bored, and they're literally gonna fall asleep on the field.
They did a great job of boring me.
They're a very boring team to watch. I'll give them that. It'd be one thing even if they played like this and they had like a consistent 9 and they could score like 2-3 goals a game.
Yeah,
and it results in something, but it just results in shots over the bars and like wide, and if they have a clear cut chance, it's like right at the keep. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they don't stick out to me as like a heavy favorite or anything.
No, which is different from what some people say.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I mean, they've got the results, but the performances haven't been very impressive.
Yeah,
to say
definitely
the
not
least.
convincing.
No,
for me.
Just the defense, like, I mean, let's see him go against a quality side.
Mm-hmm.
They might really get punished.
Yeah, I definitely think they could. Anything else you want to say? Wrapping that one up.
No, this game was just kind of like probably one of the worst of the tournament, I would say.
Yeah, it was pretty boring.
Yeah, and then it goes to extra time.
The play was sloppy at times.
Yeah.
So not enjoyable. The next one, though.
Let's move on to a better game, a much better game.
This one was a doozy. Italy 2, Belgium 1. We figured this one would be the two heavyweights right here going at it.
Yep.
Early on.
Well, I just want to say a quick note about the lineup. So De Bruyne in.
Yes.
Playing on the torn ligament in his ankle.
Yeah.
And then Eden Hazard not available to play, so in comes 19-year-old Doku.
Mm-hmm. Pretty telling that they're going to go with him over Mertens, over Carrasco. We were saying that last time. We're like, well, why isn't Hazard in there? And it's like, well, what have the other guys done?
Yeah.
It's like, you might as well try the guy from Ligue 1.
And then Chiesa coming into the Italian team, and Chiellini back in the central defense. The
notable performance by Acerbi won't go unnoticed, but Chiellini definitely got to be in there for him.
Yep.
Early on in this game, a little back and forth, Italy kind of gaining momentum, and then the offside goal that was disallowed.
Yeah, pretty early in the game.
Pretty unlucky for Di Lorenzo touching that ball. If it's through to Bonucci, he's on. But
right, just like
how would
the
you
slightest of touches.
Yeah, how would you know? Great ball in, but
yep.
The first goal after a healthy spell of possession by Italy, Barella winning the ball back, and that just shows Italy's class when it comes to that press in the other team's defensive zone. They don't let you breathe.
Right. It's a little different than the Italy we've seen in the past with the way that they play. They press pretty hard, and then also going forward, they're more dynamic, it seems. Mm-hmm. They were kind of in the same boat as Spain. Like, they'd have meaningless possession.
Yeah.
But I like the way they play now because it's a lot more dynamic, and they're really trying to
Yeah, there's edge.
push.
There's edge to their attack too. At like all times, it's always trying to catch the other team off
Yeah.
guard. Yeah, Verratti winning the ball back, playing it to Barella. Barella with a nice little dribble move, little turn, slots
Yeah,
it
that was a nice goal.
right over the injured Immobile, who gets up and then celebrates with the team. That was
A
top
miracle
class.
cure.
Yes. And then Belgium in between, I guess, right before the goal and then after the first goal, they were getting some counterattack chances.
Yeah.
They really were. Lukaku didn't have the best of shots on his chance that he had. It wasn't terrible. It still challenged and ended up resulting in a corner. But that De Bruyne shot, that was a huge save for
Yeah, that was.
Donnarumma.
Yeah, also, I liked the Doku
Aspect that he
aspect.
brought. It was different.
More direct and just hit him pretty fast on the counter.
He could do stuff even when they kind of had the ball. He was just making chances in terms of cutting and whatnot, trying to get behind. But Italy get their second goal. Not really a counter. You don't really call their attacks counters, but it was a quick little play. Insigne just walks it forward. You give him the
Beauty.
space. We said it last
Right.
podcast. They were going to need Insigne to step up in one of these games.
Yeah.
And there it is, the bit of magic.
Yeah, just failing to close out on him. You can't give him that kind of space.
No,
He just,
That's what he does for Napoli. He's just a fantastic player
yep.
when it comes to shooting and playmaking. And then right before half, off the kickoff, Belgium get down there. It's your guy, Doku.
Wins the penalty.
Getting the...
It's a little...
Yeah, it was weird because he kind of had position, but the way that Doku turned it like the last second to when he was going to go down, it did look like it was less shoulder to shoulder than it was when Di Lorenzo initiated contact.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it wasn't like
a clear-cut
super clear-cut penalty, but a penalty nonetheless.
I'd agree.
And at this point, you're kind of saying, like, okay, well, Italy, they were up 2-0, and then they give up this goal right before halftime. Like, oh, maybe they have some cracks.
Yeah.
They're not perfect. But Lukaku scores the penalty, goes into halftime, and come back out of halftime.
Oh, man, that one chance, the big chance for
big
Lukaku.
chance.
Cleared off the line by Spinazzola, blocking it, and then Lukaku whiffing. Coming off a counterattack by, I believe it was your guy Doku again.
Yeah.
And then he finds De Bruyne on a perfect through ball. De Bruyne across the face of net. As good as that was, and it caught Italy out, the form that Italy held there with having defenders back and whatnot, it's about all you can ask for.
Yeah, kind of bend, don't break.
Yeah. It was really special play. And Lukaku right after shushing Donnarumma got a little taste of his own meme medicine.
Big injury for Italy in the second half.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say they put on Chadley, who came in and created that other chance, too. He, sent that cross in, and it went over. Lukaku, jumped too soon. And then it was but yet it was behind Hazard, who was open back post, and he couldn't really get a shot.
And then Chadley got hurt and got subbed off.
Yeah.
Within 3 minutes.
Rest in paradise, Nasser Chadley. Yeah, one big injury, the other injury, Chadley. I mean, that was unfortunate for him, getting hurt and having to be subbed off. What club is he on now?
I have no clue.
He's on Başakşehir.
Yeah.
Istanbul, Başakşehir.
I was thinking it was a Turkish club, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the injury.
Spinazzola,
massive.
Very unlucky. Just, we were talking about this earlier, he didn't even, have any contact or anything. He was just running and
that's when you know it's
gave
bad.
out.
Yeah. The fans booing him because Italy was taking their time with other injuries, and then they're like, get up.
Yeah.
This guy's a ruptured Achilles on the field. Have to cart him off.
Yeah.
It's going forward, that's going to be...
Yeah.
He's probably been... I mean, Italy's such a team that it's hard to say that one guy's been their main guy, but he's been such a massive linchpin for them.
Yeah, he brings so much energy too going forward. He just really ignites the attacking phases.
Yeah,
that
the
they
link up
have.
play from midfield to him to trying to get it to another attacking player is you can't say how important it's been for Italy. But Emerson, still current Premier League player, still comes in, doesn't look too bad. I mean, I think he'll be serviceable for them going forward. He's just not going to be Spinazzola.
Yeah, that's a tall order.
Yeah. And you know what? It might just be best for them if he's not Spinazzola and he's just Emerson out there. He's just all right, and he's not getting beat or anything, but he's
right
where he needs to be, and he's playing okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, finishes 2-1. Nothing too crazy at the end. Italy sees it out.
Yep.
Well, takeaways for Belgium. A lot of people say it's their last big go-around. I mean,
yeah,
I would say in a way it's less about like their golden generation kind of fading. I think because De Bruyne is so good, he'll still be around, and Lukaku's so good, he'll still be around. But Hazard, I don't think he'll be the same. Witzel's probably done. The defense with Vertonghen and Vermaelen and Alderweireld probably not going to be looking too sharp when they come around. But at least you have Tielemans coming in to his own. I guess Mertens will be out too, but
they still have a good core. I mean, think of those guys. Like Mertens didn't play that much.
Mm-hmm.
Came off the bench.
Yeah.
But not like a vital piece. And Eden Hazard, he hasn't been that much of a factor.
He hasn't been that elite player for...
He played one game, and he wasn't even at like full fitness or, match sharpness.
So I think it's more about like certain parts of the core kind of fading into a different part of their career, and they're just not as good. But you still have elite level players in Lukaku and De Bruyne. Yeah. And you have some solid young players that are still emerging. So I don't think it's over. I mean, and we didn't even mention Courtois. He's still an elite goalie. So
yeah, I think the biggest thing will be to see if they can transition their defense into at least getting some guys who are solid back there.
Yeah, because right now of guys who would play for them, typically they played a little bit of Boyata in this tournament and a little bit of Jason Denayer.
Yeah.
Denayer? What's his name? Yeah, the guy on Lyon. But yeah, I suppose
they're just going to drop down a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Just kind of a level. They're not probably going to be contending for the titles of...
No, they're not number 1 team, number 2 team in the world like they're ranked right now. But
they're more maybe like a 8 or
8 to 12,
yeah.
I would say. That's probably where they'll fall back to. Anything you want to talk about for this game?
I mean, Italy, again, good performance from them. Solid. They managed this bigger test.
Yeah,
in Belgium.
Everyone keeps saying for Italy, it's like, oh, wait till they play good teams, and now they beat Belgium, and it's what else they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
of the teams left, Italy looks the most solid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Spain has cracks in their defense and also look lackluster in scoring for much of the tournament. England, they look better today, but they have looked a little tentative on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Solid in defense. And then Denmark, they're punching above their weight.
Yeah.
So
they're riding off the vibes. Speaking of Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark versus
Denmark and the Czech today. 2-1.
The Czechs.
Denmark. Was a game that was, I don't know, you wouldn't say back and forth in like the way that you would think that it's like blow for blow, but it felt like just certain parts of the game one team would just dominate.
Yeah, like Denmark got off to a fast start off the corner kick that was a little controversial of whether it should have been a corner or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then just some horrendous marking to have Delaney
wide open
kind of in the back of the 18-yard box.
Before we go on, maybe we were talking last week how Wales was so unlucky. Maybe Denmark's just like the luckiest team that there is.
I think so, yes.
I think it's less about Wales having bad luck because now the Czechs kind of get screwed over here. That play where it goes off the Czech guy, or so it appeared, didn't actually go off him.
I saw a video where it like brushed his fingertips. So
I see. Well, then maybe it did. I didn't see that, but
Yeah, I don't know, but
even then,
also the fact that like this guy has an open header and he's like, I don't know, 12,
yeah,
12 yards out, and
I'd
the
say
header
so.
gets through everyone.
But that's the thing with Denmark is like they get a chance and then they take it immediately. So it's like
Yeah,
they're lucky, but they're also very good.
yeah,
And these teams get kind of like caught off guard by like the things that'll go for Denmark. Like that happened to Wales last week. It's just like one or two things bounces against you, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's in the back of the net. So yeah, Delaney,
yep.
massive header off the corner. After that, it was a little more balanced. Again, like I was saying, it felt like Denmark dominated, then Czech would dominate for a little bit,
Yeah.
and Denmark, and then right before half, that little bit of that cross from Male was
That was a beautiful cross, that outside of the boot.
that was dirty.
I mean, you got to wonder, like, teams will probably be in
Going
after
him.
I
Yeah,
mean, he's signed for, I forget what club he plays for.
he's
but
on Atalanta.
Yeah, he was only there for like half a season so far. But
yeah, I think he came from the Danish league, if not the Eredivisie. I forget, but
anyone who's looking for like a attacking wing back.
oh yeah, he could be paid a very handsome sum.
Yeah, I know a lot of people want him at Arsenal. I don't know if he fits that role. Arsenal plays with a back four.
I think Chelsea'd probably be the most ideal spot. Maybe
Yeah.
City, but
Yeah,
probably Chelsea. And then Dolberg, he's
the man in
back.
form.
He's back. 3-2 for him.
He's peaking.
He is absolutely peaking. Goes into half, 2-0 down. I wouldn't say I wrote the check off because you never know, but I was thinking it's probably done and dusted.
Well, especially given the fact that this game was in Baku, which, just a little side note, it's ridiculous. Like, Azerbaijan
How dare you.
is not part of Europe.
How dare you?
We all know this was paid off. There were like Czech fans that weren't able to get into the game, and
There's been so much controversy with like fans being able to get in games and not being able to get in games. It's
Yeah.
like, what is this? What is the issue?
just, of course, it seemed like there were a lot more Danish fans,
Yeah, what's that about?
And then the fact that it was like super hot and humid, you can see they were just drenched. And when you're chasing after a game you're down 2-0 and it's so hot,
Yeah, it's
Like-
gonna be tough.
it's going to be tough. I mean, they got an early goal, 49th minute.
Mm-hmm.
Schick again.
from Shufal. You know, they made a subreddit at half of bringing on Yankto, and I mentioned him a couple podcasts ago where I just like him as like a player, and he kind of came on. He looked good in terms of doesn't really get out wide in Serie A, but today he was kind of making more chances going forward for them. He really contributed to their attack, but then Shufal with that early ball into the box.
Mm-hmm.
Denmark switches off a little bit too soon, kind of sitting back a little too far. Schick, you give him any space these days.
Yeah. I mean,
Oof.
I almost want to say it could have been saved.
It could have been. I think it looked savable mainly because it wasn't hit that hard, but that placement was perfect. Bottom corner, right next to the post. But you're expecting old man Schmeichel to get down there. He doesn't have that
Yeah,
anymore.
he's not as fast.
Him with his butterscotch haircut that he has.
Butterscotch?
Yeah, the South Park character. He has like shaved sides, but then
Reference
like, the
going over my head.
Denmark bringing on Poulsen. Interesting, just as a note because he took that knock and now he's
Yeah,
back.
right.
But
He looked
so
good. He was creating some chances. Had a chance
Definitely.
of his own.
yeah, also kicked our boy Tommy Sushek in the side of the head.
Yeah, not cool.
Messed up.
Not cool. I thought maybe, you get the head wrap, you go Kiefer Moore, score a goal. Didn't work.
No, Czech they
Unfortunately.
even had two guys with the head
Yeah.
wraps. They're like, we're for sure getting it.
Channeling the head wrap energy. Unlucky. Didn't get it.
Oh, man. Any takeaway from Damsgaard in this game? There's been a lot of buzz about him lately.
Yeah, he had a good chance in the game that he can't remember if it was saved. Or,
Yeah,
it was like cleared off the line, but
mm-hmm.
he wasn't able to get much on it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's a good attacking piece. The thing is, I think Denmark could have capitalized on some of their chances,
They really could have.
and they could have put the game to bed. But as we've seen, they don't have the most lethal attacking players
Yeah.
who will convert on all of their chances. So
Yeah, that's the thing. There was that one play in the late in the second half where Male had like almost like a breakaway.
yeah,
And he took the shot, which I don't blame him. He tried to go near post.
mm-hmm.
But Braithwaite was sitting there like, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know if I'd pass to you. You're not very good either.
Yeah,
I might as well take the shot.
yeah. When you're going against better teams, you got to capitalize on any chances you get.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, if you get any chance against England that's even as half decent as that one that Male had at the end of this Czech game, you have to score. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, they've conceded 0 goals.
Yeah, you don't have a choice but to score.
The Czechs were pushing,
They were.
but it was just like they looked exhausted.
They did. I forget who that was, but the bald guy was really. He looked like he'd just been in a sauna for like 6 hours.
Yeah, they were all drenched.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, so 2-1. It wraps up. Man of the match got to be. Did you say Thomas Delaney out there?
I'd say Mala.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, I would say just because of the goal, but I thought Delaney was doing amazing things. I just think that's interesting bringing it up because he's been rumored with a few clubs. I know Southampton was like the first club. Now there's like more teams in the Premier League looking at Thomas Delaney, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
I definitely would be, especially if I'm Southampton. I mean,
Yes.
they need some quality players for sure.
Especially to hold down their midfield.
Especially
I
in
don't.
midfield.
I
I mean, when
I'm
you
not
have 2 seasons where you give up 9-0 defeats, like you got to figure something out.
I'm not a huge Oriol Romeu guy. Armstrong's a little more of an attacker.
Oriol Romeu, the walking red card, you mean?
The walking injured man forever. Chelsea prospect legend, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Like you say, Armstrong, he's more of your creative force going forward.
Mm-hmm. Prowse James Ward-Prowse is a little more of a wide player. They don't really have just like a 6.
No.
So I would love to see him on Southampton. Any takeaway from the Czech? They kind of had mixed results, but like the play itself, I think, was better than a lot of what their actual results were, I would say. 'Cause
Yeah.
They only had 2 wins.
Yeah, they impressed me more than I expected. They kind of were gritty, and
Mm-hmm.
they really fought for their points in this tournament. And I mean, I give credit to Patrick Schick. He scored 5 goals and not many chances.
Yeah. No, he was super efficient. That's the thing is when we gave our preview podcast of Czech, we knew that their defense would be like somewhat able to hold up because they have Shufal and Sushek and Kalas.
Mm-hmm.
They have solid players. But it was more about the goal scoring aspect, and Patrick Schick really stepped up. They didn't have like that much creativity when it comes from a midfielder in terms of like Dorita or any of those guys too. It was just kind of Schick was making something out of nothing a lot of these.
Yeah, especially when your team like the Czech are, that you don't create that many chances. When you have a guy who can convert those chances, that's pretty invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see because they don't really have like a young squad, but they don't have an old squad either. So if they're in form, they could push for World Cup qualifying. That wouldn't be too unreasonable.
They're a tough team to beat.
Absolutely. Tough team to beat. It takes a lot of luck.
Not to mention they didn't
Proof
get
by Denmark.
4 home games.
Yeah.
So
What are you talking about? Their home games are wherever they are. It's a home game. Every Czech fan travels. Anything going forward for Denmark? Maybe just the Poulsen healthy, but it's like, you can't take Dolberg out.
no, that's
I don't know
a
what they
tricky
would
question.
do. Maybe Braithwaite's not even always out wide.
Yeah,
So it's like, do you just put Poulsen there and
I
you
think
kind of have
I
like
would rather
you'd have like Damsgaard and Poulsen kind of as like
it's kind of like
almost like 10s, I guess.
or have like a 3-4-1-2 or a 3-4-2-1 kind of deal going.
Mm-hmm. And you just have Delaney and Højbjerg.
Yeah, I haven't
Post
seen much
up.
out of Braithwaite to warrant
anything.
starting spot in this.
No,
coming up game.
I would agree. Last game, just watched it.
Fresh off the presses.
I gave a joking prediction of 6-0 before it started. All 6 goals.
Not far off.
No, I had a good feeling that this game wouldn't be super close. Just the only real chance was, like I said, if Ukraine created some magic with one of their goals, which that's what they can do. But there was no magic today.
No magic.
They were outclassed to the max.
I mean, the early goal.
Yeah, kind of sealed it.
Yeah, but
if you let Ukraine hang around, then because even when they're down 2-0 to the Netherlands, they were still hanging around.
Yeah,
as proof of how they got in the game. They were not hanging around at any given.
Well,
point.
I gotta say, the first half,
I suppose
they survived the first half.
They survived.
They go into halftime. It's 1-0. Okay, they can still get a result out of it. They had spells of possession. But the second half, they come out, give away the free kick, Maguire scores, and at that point, it's kind of like the game's over.
Mm-hmm. With Ukraine, they were hanging around, but I told you the last podcast, I just have like an irrational confidence that nobody can score against England.
They tried against Kyle Walker.
They did try.
He was looking a little shaky out there.
Yeah. So first half, Sterling assists to Kane. Finally gets some clicking going there.
Yep.
Looked better. As far as the other attacks, England was they are always kind of slower, but they at least had some stuff going on. Shaw had a chance where he was called off. Mm-hmm. But I think if they would have, I don't know, because they called him off then.
He was level, but
yeah, because even if they did score, because Sancho had a chance, it wouldn't have mattered because they would have called it off.
Yeah, but they would have reviewed it. They didn't call him off right away. They called him off after the save.
They called him off after.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Sancho just shooting it right at the keeper.
Yeah, you can't have Jadon Sancho shooting.
Speaking of Jadon Sancho, he was
finally getting
his first start along with Mason Mount
getting in there. It was leaked like 12 hours before the game, and I saw it.
All their lineups are leaked for some reason.
Yeah, and I was like, why would they both be in there? We get the Sancho one because of Saka.
Yeah.
And because he finally got his Man U deal done, they can really throw him in there now, apparently.
That's right.
But the Mount one was a little strange to me, I'll say. I mean, he is obviously a world-class player, and he's an important part of England, but I guess
of form.
Yeah, I guess he's one of those guys for Southgate where if he's able to go, he's in.
Yep.
Him, Kane, Maguire, Stones, they're in if they're healthy. So, go into halftime like we were talking about. Come out, England just kind of a little quick build-up play, foul on Kane, and then Luke Shaw off the dead ball. England's been one of, if not the best, dead set piece teams of the tournament. And I mean that's just gonna happen when you have so many aerial threats. But
especially this one when you don't mark
Harry Maguire
thoroughly, and also Zinchenko playing him onside.
Yeah,
you're just asking for it.
We
were talking about this, but Ukraine looked very vulnerable in the air,
as proof by the next goal from Luke Shaw to Harry Kane out wide.
Yep.
Bushchan pouring out for Bushchan between the
right
wickets.
Through the legs.
Between the wickets. And then at that point, we were saying obviously now they're going to take off some of the guys that have yellow cards and not in that game, but are on the they're on the warning. If they get another one, then they're suspended.
Yep.
Declan Rice goes out. He was one of them. Henderson comes in. Little off the corner, Henderson to Mount, or Mount to Henderson rather. Pardon me, for another headed goal.
Henderson getting his first goal for England, which I was surprised.
Ukraine was like, all right, no Harry Maguire, no Harry Kane, and then Henderson's
we left Hendo wide open.
It turns out if you leave just a player wide open in the 6-yard box, he's probably going to score.
Yeah, some good moments from Pickford though, where he was just.
That was the takeaway.
He was like,
the game was over.
Yeah, we were discussing this while the game was going on. Like, what is Pickford doing? Like, is he trying to give up goals or something? Because he looked like he was trying so hard when it was like, this game is over. Like, just clear the ball or do what you got to do. And
I don't
then
know why he's
he's out there
panicking.
shanking.
He was just absolutely panicking for like no reason.
He's hitting balls out that are like low liners to the other team, and
Yeah, it's so strange.
not a real confidence
If
builder.
there's ever a 4-0 and a guy looks bad, and it's, I mean, it had to be Pickford. I mean, you could say Walker in the first half, but he recovered
Yeah.
and was able to redeem himself, I guess.
And still get the clean sheet. Like,
Yeah, that was not a good look for Mr. Pickford.
no.
Anything you want to say about any of the subs or anything by Southgate? This one, we normally really go all in on England analysis, but it was kind of hard this game because they really took it to Ukraine in terms of getting it out wide, and then they were able to get their guys middle of the box and just find them centrally all game long.
Yeah, I expect the next game they'd probably play similar to this again, whereas the game previously they went with the back three and more of a defensive setup. But I think Ukraine and Denmark are, they're not on the level of Italy or Spain or Germany. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them pull out the same lineup. And like you said, they were able to bring off guys and avoid them getting suspended, injured, or just tired.
Yeah, let's get into the semifinal, and we'll actually start with the England Denmark one. Regardless, we'll go back to the Spain Italy one, but I wouldn't rule out a back three again, only because Walker looked a little shaky this time.
Yeah, that's fair.
At times, and the thing is that their best chance, Denmark, a lot of times going forward, is guys like Male out wide. It feels like, so maybe they try and neutralize him, but
that's actually true though. Now that you say it, because Germany actually were playing
that's what they were doing with Gosens and Kimmich. Yeah,
and they were able to neutralize that.
Yeah, I wonder if they do that and they just rely on Rice and Phillips to bully Damsgaard and Poulsen in the middle of the field. Is what they might try and do.
Yeah,
maybe not or maybe they'll just bank on Rice not letting Højbjerg get forward really all that much, which he's been able to do at times. It'll be interesting to see how they attack it. I would suspect, I don't know, because in this game, I might have not thought that they would have went back to it just because it did work in the last game.
Right.
But Southgate's so based on matchups, you don't know exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And that's honestly to his benefit. It's just unfortunate someone leaks his lineup 12 hours before.
Every time.
He should leak a fake thing where he's going to be like Chilwell's in this game.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Ramsdale.
oh, shit. and then it's the same exact lineup with Luke Shaw out there.
Yeah, I give him props because a lot of these lineups, people have been saying like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. I want Sancho. I want back three, back four, whatever. But to his credit, he's got it right pretty much every game except for the Scotland game, I would say. He didn't get that one quite right.
Yeah, I think that one, that was going to be tough because Scotland was just going to always sit deep no matter what. So you might as well have just had a back three that game and put so many attacking guys, even if they had more like attacking guys out wide. Obviously, you're going to have Shaw out wide and stuff, but if you put someone who's not necessarily like the most ideal person to put in like a wing-back role.
Like Sterling.
Yeah, or even maybe Grealish might be a little too much to ask. You probably could have got away with Foden even playing deeper as like a wing back against Scotland that game.
Yeah.
Just because you knew that they'd.
Yeah, the one thing that he's shown that he won't change from is the midfield pairing of Rice and Phillips.
There's no way in your right mind you could change from the center back pairing, the midfield pairing, and then you just kind of have to leave Kane up top. I mean, it's one of your world-class players. You have to leave him up top. I don't know. It would be interesting to see what Southgate does.
I mean, on paper, it seems like this should be
comfortable
not
for
too difficult. Yeah.
Yeah,
but the plot armor of Denmark and
their motivational kind of thing they got going on. Plus, Kasper Dolberg finding the form that he has. Who knows? But I do think now that I think about it, I would bet they'll go with the back three so they can get Trippier on Male and Shaw on Striger,
Yeah.
Larson, or whatever his name is. I would, if you just want to go prediction right now,
I'm going to say
I'm gonna say 2-0.
3-0 England.
3-0.
This game's at Wembley.
I'm gonna go 2.
Home field advantage.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule out 3 now that you mentioned that it is Wembley.
Yeah.
Because this is Denmark's real first. Well, I guess this one was their first away game, even though they had more people and stuff. They still had to travel.
This is a legit away match.
Yeah, they're gonna be
There's going to be
shook.
60,000 lads going nuts.
Other semifinal, Italy Spain. This one is also in England.
Yep.
So probably going to be neutral there. Anything that stands out to you from this one?
I think Spain is going to finally get exposed at the back, like, thoroughly. From the quality of players that Italy has, like, okay, you can't get away with this anymore. You got to be sharper than what you have been. Otherwise, guys like Insigne or Chiesa, they're just going to find those gaps and capitalize on those mistakes.
Yeah, the thing I'll be watching for is how Italy will press, because Spain's playing, a lot of times they hold possession, but it's just in midfield, maybe a little more in the attacking half. But Italy might have to just sit back a little and then hit on the counter in this one, more so than what they've had to do. It'll be interesting how much Spain holds the ball, because Italy doesn't mind holding the ball either. It might be 70-30, 65-35, something like that. But I just have supreme confidence in Italy's midfield to win that battle over Spain's midfield is the main thing.
I think another key thing on this one is Spain playing back-to-back extra time matches.
They might be toasted.
Yeah, we have this quick turnaround. Like, man, Italy starts pressing, might not know what hit you, you know?
Yeah, it's just something with Spain that's, you feel like there's a game lurking in there where they're going to strike for 3 goals for like no reason.
Yeah, that's also true.
Where it's like, oh my gosh, why didn't we see this coming? And that's what I was thinking about last pod, where I was like, this feels like, because Portugal last Euro weren't the best team, and you could be like, oh, there's more teams that deserved it to win it than them. And sometimes that's just what happens in sports. You could see Spain somehow like getting through and then winning the final, and then you're like, what just happened? They did that was not the best team of the tournament.
Yeah, I suppose the way I could see it is that, like, if Italy comes out and they're pressing a lot, most of the teams that have been playing against Spain have just allowed Spain to have that possession.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're pressing, then there's going to be
could
more
open it up.
space. Yeah,
Yeah, it could be what Spain wants,
right.
but it could be what Italy wants, because Spain can't finish if their lives depended on it.
That's true.
Prediction for this one?
I'm going to say 2-0 Italy.
I'll go 3-1
Okay.
Italy.
You know, I'm glad you brought up Portugal, because watching England, it kind of reminds me of Portugal, because, you know, we all
But
know
Portugal won it, or Portugal now?
in 2016 when they won it, because they were kind of playing like a more solid defensively team.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like pushing like super hard attacking wise, which
Yeah.
I kind of see that in England, how they are more kind of
They're built by the back.
risk-averse.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're built by the back, and they know that they have plenty of time and quality on their side in these games to get goals. Even if they leave it late, they know that they're just one moment away from scoring the goal to win it for them.
Yeah.
But I get that. I think it's more that England is actually such higher quality than that Portugal team that it's hard for me to see.
For sure.
Yeah.
I only say it in the way of the system.
The style, yeah.
I see it as like, oh, maybe Southgate looked at this and said, you don't have to be like all out attack.
Mm-hmm.
And you can absorb some pressure and be a little more pragmatic in that sense. And that it gets you results. You know, might not be like the most amazing thing to watch, like at times. But
Yeah.
hey, you get the result.
What if England win the Euro and the one team that didn't beat them or that wasn't beat by them was Scotland?
Scotland, man, respect.
You just gotta park the bus.
Yeah.
So Italy, England final prediction from us. Hopefully it comes true.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That would be a great game.
That would be fantastic.
Don't count on Denmark, though.
Don't count on Denmark, and you can't count on Spain either. Even
Conspiracy theories.
What if they did? What if it's just a match fix and Denmark got like 2 pens against England somehow?
This might be the end of the podcast if that happens.
It's gonna be solo.
Just gonna be the Hank show.
Yeah, I'm gonna be coming here, and I'm gonna be talking about stuff, and Sam's gonna be sitting there playing video games.
Denmark.
Sam, you got anything to say? Yeah, and it's just Sam like, all right, Denmark.
It's funny, we were talking about this when they mentioned like, oh, everyone will be cheering for Denmark as their second team. It's like, no, I'm not.
Sam will not.
All of Wales is not.
Now the Czechs aren't.
Now the Czechs aren't. The Czechs, they don't cheer for anyone else. They cheer for themselves.
No, yes. Same with the Ukrainian. That was so good by Yarmolenko. With the Yaremchuk like pulling him away. He's like, don't help him up.
You don't help
Slabby
people
up.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we wrap up? Just ready for the semis already?
Yeah, I'm ready for football to come home.
I'm honestly just
coming back home.
So excited. Even though it's been a great time doing this, I'm just excited for our weekly roundups.
Yeah, that'll be
Premier
on
League
another
news.
level.
Oh my gosh, that first one, all the news we're gonna have to be
You
going
can't see
through.
this, but my hands are being rubbed together.
They're rubbing.
I'm ready.
We're getting warmed up here.
It's already been a little spicy. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti going back to Everton.
Ancelotti and Rafa, he's back. He's back.
Oh yeah, Carlo Ancelotti leaving Everton and Rafa going.
Tottenham's managerial mishaps that have been going on.
They get their 7th choice.
Oh, I'm ready
All that
for it.
and more.
I'm ready
to come
for it.
on
Yes.
the Premiership Perusal Podcast. Bow, bow, bow.